Hello and welcome to the deep dive into everything you need to know when it comes to the loot, the gear system, and making your builds. We're going to be doing a breakdown right now for beginner and advanced players. I have some tips and tricks and a lot of details to get into. So stick around through it all. We're going to start with some beginner stuff, kind of introduce you to what is going on. That's going to also give people who might think they know already even more information, which can lead them down the hole of discovery, because I'm telling you guys, there's plenty to discover in this game, and we're gonna talk about it in depth. So lock in and enjoy. Should be a fun ride. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as well. And here we go. We're gonna start off with a very simple, quick visual for you guys. I want to give you guys a look at what your gear is going to look like and explain this a little bit, enough for you to know what you need to do. Okay, so first and foremost, it's a looter shooter. There are currently 8 slots in the game for you. 2 of them will be the firearms, and you're going to be able to swap depending on which character you have. Each character has specific play styles and specific weapons that they're allowed to use. We'll put that in another video about who to main and why you would want that. But on this video, we just want to talk about the overall and break down a bunch of details for you guys. Okay, so you got 2 firearms, let's say a shotgun and a sniper, and let's say you want to put on a melee. As you can see right here, the melee also has its own slot, and this thing, all of these slots are customizable. You're going to be able to put on something specific that fits your playstyle and that works for what you're trying to do. So this is what's important, at giving you that freedom to build the best. And guys, I gotta say, for guys like myself who play a lot of looter shooters, this game has some dreamy stuff, and we'll talk about it a little later in the video. But stick around for this breakdown here. Now, grenades. Why do I want to talk about grenades? Well, guess what? Grenades are critical, guys. I promise you, you're going to want to pay attention to which grenade type you have. They have a lot of powerful elements on them. So I say it's a must, in my personal opinion, but that's just me. Then we have the shield mods, of course, shield mods. And you're looking at one right now on this specific screenshot we got. As you can see, it says after shield harvesting, your next critical hit will deal 350 increased damage. Shield harvesting is a way to get some shield for yourself. So a very cool mechanic within the gameplay that you're going to do a lot of. And then imagine it's going to give you 350 increased damage. So that next shot of yours is going to be wild. So it's pretty spectacular abilities and extra perks that the game will offer for each specific gear set. Of course, there's a lot of gear. We'll get into that in just a minute. Then you have and the Traversal mod. Now, Traversal mod is for what we've talked about, where it's very important to learn each character that you're going to be using, all of their traversal, not just for traveling around the map, but it's actually in-game attacks and things you can do with your traversal. So pay close attention to this, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And last but not least, the last 2 slots, one is the neck bomb mod. This is very special and unique for you. And then last but not least, lucky charm slot. Okay, so that's 8 spots for you guys, and there's plenty of gear to go through and break down and to talk about. But what you have to understand, this is what synergize different pieces. Putting on 2 of the same kind of pieces will unlock special abilities, a lot of that stuff, right? And if you don't know this stuff, this is the reason why I'm breaking it down, to help you understand, to go from there. But the point is, create a synergetic flow to your build. Okay, and we're going to start getting into some of the different items that we'll see in the game, and I want to kind of go over them just a little bit. Right now, we're going to look into the one and the only grenades. And grenades, as you can see right here, have legendary, they have infamy, and the Notorious ones as well. So I mean, I would assume Well, Notorious, I'm not sure, but I've seen legendary ones, and in them you can say it says each enemy hit by a grenade drops either shield pickups, less potent damage buffs, or ammo. Okay, so now pay attention. You want to be able to pick up the right pieces of gear so you can do the right thing and go forward. Now, to slow this down and to rewind a second, there's different kinds of gears. There's the common, uncommon, the rare, epic, legendary. That's just your general stuff that you'll find. And then there's the infamy sets, which are pretty much themed around these different heroes and villains. And then the notorious ones are also doing that as well. So a lot of cool stuff when it comes to the variety of things that you can utilize. And there's plenty of ways and things you can do to get them. But I wanted to stick to showcasing some of these gear sets and then discussing things like your build. So for example, on this display here, it's just showcasing only very few numbers, but we're looking at the critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and the traversal attack build up rate. Okay, that's for how much damage that they can do. And of course, there's going to be way more stats if we look into it: shotgun damage, sniper damage, overall damage. All of this good stuff is going to be in here. You have your suicide attacks. How much damage does that do? It's in this sheet as well. There's plenty of stuff like the afflicted elements, which I'll showcase one of those. This right here is affliction. It's basically status effects. Okay, so you're going to be able to get different status effects in the game. They're called affliction, and there'll be some reward that you'll get throughout the story. So as you can see right here, we got freeze. I'm sure there's a character with freeze in his name, but in here, tons of stuff. The affliction, by arresting cellular molecules, you freeze and resistant to melee. Enemies are resistant to melee. Shatter them by firearms instead. So if you hit them with freeze and then you shoot them, they'll get shattered. So this is actually a good way. If you don't want to be a melee player, you put on freeze, then you fire away and you'll be able to take them out. And it says freeze enemies for 10 seconds. Frozen enemies take 200 damage by firearms. And then it says frozen enemies take 100 damage from falling. So you can just throw them over a ledge. There's a lot of rooftop battles, so you can do that as well. Frozen enemies take great reduced damage from melee. Okay, so just an example of the type of stuff you're going to be able to do. And like I was just showcasing the synergy behind having this affliction and looking at your stats and saying, okay, well, I need more freeze damage if I really want to try to maximize this build. And what am I going to put on there? There's tons of stuff that I might need or might not want. What is a good tool? What weapons can I use with this? And we'll get into some of that as we go along the way. And I just want to showcase a ton of stuff. You can pause it as we go through it, but I want to try to just give you guys some breakdowns and things like that so that you can know how it goes. Okay, so we're looking at Poison Ivy. Apply afflictions. It's a melee weapon and a wrist cannon. Okay, it's called Come At Me wrist cannon here. And just to go to the bottom half of it, and we're going to zoom in on this, you're looking at melee hits on an enemy who can be countered will do 100% more damage and send them flying. So this is basically a up close smash somebody ability. Now, is that your play style? That's the question, depending on which character you are. Of course, melee heavy, I would think, is King Shark. So we do have some builds we're going to be talking about. Of course, once the game releases, we'll have everything you need. But for now, I just want to talk about different things that you can do within the game and how to utilize them in your own way going forward. Okay, now check out this grenade right here. Unique stuff. And we're going to get into some breakdowns in a minute, but I wanted to kind of give you guys just a quick understanding. Each of these items have special elements. Looking at limited to carrying one grenade at a time. It sounds bad, right? But each grenade does 500 damage and has 100% bigger explosion radius. That's crazy. I love that. So you can throw this bad boy on and you're going to be able to do even more damage going forward. So that to me is a steal. There's plenty of stuff. And then we're going to talk about the stores and the vendors just very quickly, a quick short one. We'll get into this a little deeper down once I can show you what store and everything that's inside of them. But you're looking at the Hall of Justice, Rapid Transit. Okay, so all of these supporting class, they're basically your squad in a way, but the support roles, and you're able to go in there and purchase things, upgrade, and do a lot of different stuff. Okay, when you look at it, you got Penguin to craft new gear, Ivy to apply afflictions, which is the status effects. You have Toyman to modify your gear, augments. You know, you have pretty much a solid team here of different people. Okay, and then of course there's care package rewards that you can pick up, and you're always going to want to go back over there and test out things. There's even a gun range. So just a lot of information on this one sheet. It's going to be very critical that you look into it and you check this out for yourself when the time comes, and start going back to your hub, visiting these guys and getting into it. And each of them will have special things. You can see the care package here. This is a critical one, just to kind of talk about end game very shortly. With the care package, you're going to be able to legitimately upgrade and max out your character more, because there's some currency in here from what the devs were saying, and this currency you use to do end game content. So it's going to be necessary. Okay, just super cool stuff like that I'm actually really loving. As we can take a quick look into Penguin and look at some of the stuff that he's offering here. He has firearms, of course, melee weapons, shield mods, traversal, and the grenades, and he's going to be able to do some good things for you. And you want to pay attention to that, because this is going to be the #1 place to go. And I'll have guides for that. By the time you watch this video, most likely I'll have guides and breakdowns for you guys when it comes to all of that. And yes, you're looking at a ton of different gear pieces, legendary stuff. I wanted to take a pause to let you know you can save loadouts. This is a critical thing. I play a lot of looter shooters, and I'm gonna be honest, Suicide Squad has done a lot of features that I wish other games had. Some games still don't have them, and the games are already like 6 years in and they still haven't released loadouts. And it's very difficult because you have to switch your whole setup every time. But in this game, you don't have to. You can just save a specific play style. Let's say you want a melee style with Boomerang. Fine. Save it. And then switch it up and be a long range sniper style of player and save that one. And it doesn't have to be the exact same. You can literally be totally different play styles within the same character. And that's what I love about video games, that allow you to create your own builds. And I'm going to have all types of builds, guys. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys the fundamentals of what my thinking is when it comes to this stuff. I hope it's making some sense for you here. And now, check out the one and the only Notorious items here. This stuff is very cool. It says Notorious weapons and items are available. Swap the personal properties of these powerful villains to unleash unique effects that you won't find anywhere else. We've seen a couple of these already, and I'll showcase more in just a second. You got the infamy gear sets right here, and then you have the legendary weapons that are called Notorious. They're special. This one's Black Mass Bullet Storm. Right, and there's a bunch of status effects, probably stronger than most of the weapons in the game. But what you want to pay attention to is right here. As you can see, it says each enemy hit with the firearm receives Black Mass Mark. Applying Black Mass marks to 3 different enemies within 9 seconds causes all marked enemies to trigger a fury explosion that burns nearby enemies. Okay, this is just one of many of the Notorious weapons. I don't know how many they are. We'll break all that down once we get the information. But that's just an example of the type of things you can do. And I want to take a pause to talk about the infamy ones as well. The infamy is a little bit different than those. These are special. These are very unique, and actually you got to pay attention to this. This right here is where you can put on multiple pieces, gear set bonuses. Okay, so if I have one piece, I'm going to get shooting frozen enemies generates 2% on my shield. And then if I have two pieces, traversal attacks deal no damage, but have a 100% chance to freeze all enemies hit. So this is crazy. So you do a traversal attack, you shoot them, and then remember there was other items that also help buff you when you have frozen on enemies. So there's a lot of little things like that you're gonna absolutely love and enjoy as you go. All right. So just think about it and figure it out. Now I'm going to take a pause and talk about the Notorious weapons and how does this work. All right. What I've been told is combining two weapons together helps create these as well. The synergy. So looking at the bottom weapons right here, these are what is currently in this slot. All right. And the system is very unique, and I still haven't got confirmation on every single detail there, but combining two infamy weapons creates the synergy that you need, which we'll get into a little later. It's called villain synergy. But yeah, so you're looking at a lot of gear pieces, a lot of cool items, a lot of cool stuff, guys. And I wanted to take a moment to kind of slow this down, rewind the track, and make you think about it. For example, traversal attacks. What is this? Well, now you know. I'm going to go ahead and break it down. You're looking at one of the traversal attacks. This is a Harley Quinn mod. Some of the mods are specific to the characters and others are universal. So skilled landing and ground slides have a chance of dropping a live bomb on your feet. It only could occur every 20 seconds. This is cool. I mean, I slide in every game anyways. So this is going to be awesome in my opinion, if you ask me. Just a really cool tool. Something awesome. Now let's look at a actual infamy version right here. And so this has multiple things. The first two spots say 5% resources from melee hits, and then 25% traversal attack damage on burning enemies. And we haven't even looked at the actual gear set bonuses that it has. Okay, so that's the type of thing that I'm interested in and that I want to know about. Once the game releases, I'll be able to really break that down and go deeper down the rabbit hole on every little detail. All right, so just curious on some of this stuff, and we wanted to talk about overall the experience and what you guys can get, and give you guys a summary about the gear so you can say, okay, that makes sense to me. So we're going to start over from the start with a little more fast and advanced setup. So imagine I put on two pieces of infamy gear that go together. They give me a bonus on burning, and then I put on two other pieces that are, let's say, Notorious. That will allow me to create my playstyle where I'm burning enemies when I headshot sniper them, right? So that's why I'm using Deadpool. And then I have a sniper for long range, and then I have a shotgun when I'm up close. My melee weapon creates a debuff to basically shut enemies down. And then my grenade, you know, it does 500 damage. I only get one grenade, but I get 500 damage on it. So when I'm up close, I'll throw the grenade right at their feet, do some damage. That's an automatic kill, pretty much, I would think, unless we're in the end game. All right, there's a lot of affliction abilities that you can pick up. I'm not sure how many just yet, but fire, ice are confirmed already, and there's gonna be plenty more, I assume, as we go. Again, all of the stats you're gonna be able to look at, and what's cool about this is that I can test things very thoroughly when I get my hands on this game. So you're gonna see that from me. Really deep dive into that in the near future. All right, we talk about the Notorious items and how important these things are and the way that they work. They're probably the most rarest items in this game, and you want to definitely pick them up, and they're all themed around villains, so it's very cool. But on top of that, the gear set bonuses, where you combine two pieces and you can maximize everything you need, on this playstyle. For example, 50% critical hit chance to brutes for 1 piece, but for 2 pieces, they get critical hit chance by 1% doing Suicide Squad. And then Traversal attack by 50% less damage, but 100% electrified, all enemies hit. So this is another confirmation for another affliction, aka status effect damage that's going to be working. So just an example of some really cool stuff. And by the way, I wanted to take a moment and just to give you guys a breakdown that a lot of this stuff, you know, that I'm showcasing is early before the game releases. If you're watching this, I pretty much just studied this and tried to understand it as fully as possible so that I will be able to give people a rundown on what exactly to expect with this game. And I do believe that they're doing an amazing job with this overall experience. I want to add that I appreciate everybody that's coming through, hanging out. We are going to be live streaming this game a lot. So if you watching this, I'm assuming you want to play it, and you can come and check me out and join on the fun through co-op and things like that as we go. All right. That's what I want to stress. And so there's a lot to get into. We're going to let this cutscene visuals play. I do want to add that a lot of these screenshots were sent to me by Jay. She mentioned a couple people who they're from. I believe some are from Dame Falcon. That Brat and J Shock, I believe. These are what she sent me. She didn't send me any links, but if you have that information, feel free. I'll be gladly to put that in there. They got early access and they basically checked it all out. So this is all public knowledge. This isn't like I'm hiding secrets from you guys or something like that. But I just wanted to put it all together to give you guys a preview on gear and help you understand kind of what to expect and what to look forward to. Now, I will add that I have a breakdown on other things that are very vital for this game that are important. So I want to break down the system, the combat system. This is a vital thing. This game has a very deep combat system. It's not just get in there and shoot things. You can do combos so that you can buff up all your abilities and so much more. I have a bunch of videos where I'm going to be breaking different things like that down. Go check it out right now in the channel and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments if they were helpful, and share your also tips and tricks. All right. We appreciate you guys out here. Take care. Stay blessed.